I will continue to encourage you to find those desires, find those values, be true to yourself. And I'm really going to encourage you to find a community, whether it's online, whether it's through the community that I'm building, or whether it's through another community, to really find what are those values that are true and authentic to you, and to really find the truth. Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about how value is our foundation, desire is our spark, and energy is our fuel. Our values represent what is most important to us, the principles that we believe, that we hold close, that we often use to guide our decisions and our actions. When we align our energy with our core value, it leads to more sustainable motivation and purpose. For example, if one value personal growth, you'll naturally channel energy into activities like learning and development. When we talk about desire as our spark, desires are more immediate, often rooted in what we want to give them. They can often be fleeting or persistent, but they act as a fire behind our actions. Desires aren't always aligned with values. When they do, they become powerful motivators because they connect our immediate goals to the deeper principles. However, when desires conflict with our values, it can create internal tension or even drain our energy as we struggle with alignment. Energy as fuel. Energy is the capacity we bring to pursue both desires and live our values. Where we direct our energy reveals what's most important to us, whether it's in the moment or whether it's our long-term values. Misalignment between our energy and our values often lead to burnout or dissatisfaction. However, when energy is directed and fulfilling desires that align with our core value, it creates a sense of flow and fulfillment. In essence, values guide and ground us. Desires push us forward, and energy is what fuels the journey. Aligning all three, investing energy in pursuit that honors both desires and values, creates harmony, clarity, and fulfillment in life. Feeling like you should do something versus feeling like you want to do something is often a tension that we have to go throughout our day. Feeling like you should do something comes from external expectations, internalized rules, or moral and ethical standards. Society, family, friends, or work's responsibilities might create a sense of obligation. For example, you might feel like you should pursue a practical career path because it represents a financial stability, even if it doesn't personally excite you. We internalize beliefs about what is right or expected of us, what a good person should do. These come from upbringing, culture, and expectations. You might feel like you should help a friend in need because you've been taught that loyalty and kindness are essential, even though you personally are drained or unavailable at the moment. Moral and ethical standards sometimes you feel as a sense of duty because it aligns your values about being a responsible or compassionate person. For example, you might feel like you should volunteer because you value community service, even if you are not particularly enthusiastic about specific opportunity in front of you. This is an example of a moral or ethical standard that you may set for yourself, but it isn't something that you hold as a core value. So figuring out those two areas, what is your core values and what are external values, and as best as possible aligning those two, is something that I really want to value in this channel as we continue to talk and as we continue to move forward. In these cases, energy and motivation may feel forced. Doing things out of obligation can often drain energy, especially if it conflicts with what you truly desire or feel. Over time, living primarily in the realm of should leads to frustration or burnout. It distances us from who you want to be and what you really want. When you want to do something, it arises from an internal motivation that is connected to our values and has a pleasure and a satisfaction element to it as well. This is driven by our personal passion, curiosity, and the excitement, the desire that comes from within. And the energy feels more natural or even effortless. For example, pursuing a hobby or interest because you love it. It's not because it's expected of you, but it generates energy rather than depletes it. When you connect to your values, what you want is to be aligned. When this desire is also connected to your values, it motivates you. It becomes more powerful. It creates a sense of purpose and fulfillment as you are living out of your true self. For example, one of the values that we all have is to be seen. And so when we're creative, when we take our work and we add an element of creativity, something where we're putting ourselves out there and it's seen as valuable and we really contribute to our endeavors, that really fuels us and gives us a sense of pleasure and satisfaction because we really are seen by what we are contributing. A lot of times those things will bring immediate joy, satisfaction, and peace. When you act out of genuine desire, your energy is more sustainable because it's rooted in joy, curiosity, and passion. These activities lend to be energizing because they are aligned with who you are and what makes you feel alive. It helps you to really be seen, and that value comes out both to others and to yourself because you really are being able to live out of a place of who you really want to be. In many cases, we will have to find a balance between what we should and what we want. In many cases, we find ourselves navigating delicate balance between what we should do and what we want to do. Here's how that interplay works. Alignment creates flow, conflict drains energy, and you need to balance both. You need to balance those things that bring you energy and those things that drain you that you have to do. The sweet spot occurs when your shoulds do also align with what you want to do. For example, if you feel like you should work out for your health and you also enjoy exercise, it becomes a natural and energizing habit. On the other hand, if you feel like you should do something but you don't want to, this creates tension. For example, you might feel like you should attend a work event or network, but you'd rather be at home relaxing. This intended conflict creates friction and can drain your energy, leading to feeling more resentment, guilt, or fatigue. Life often requires us to do things that we should do, but that we really don't want to. However, the key is to recognize when this happens and minimize the gap between the two. Over time, if you can align more of your shoulds with what you want, you'll experience more satisfaction and fulfillment. Navigating the should-want divide. When you feel the pull between what you think you should do and what you want to do, it's important to realize the following questions. Where is should coming from? Is it truly necessary, or is it based on external pressures that you can reconsider or let go? How does this align with my values? Is there something that's supposed to be in my core values, or is it something leading me away from them? What is it that I truly want? Understanding what you want helps you to clarify when you may be sacrificing your desires for the sake of obligation. And finally, can I find a balance or reframe the situation? Sometimes reframing a should into something more desirable can shift your motivation. For example, if you feel like you should take one more responsibility at work, but you're not excited about it, you can find an aspect of that task and connect it with your values as a long-term goal, or you can really find a way to move that aspect out of your life. You can phase those things out. By reflecting on these questions, you can better manage the inner value with your external activities, the expectations, the other pressures that people put on you, and by connecting to your desires to be seen, to be valued, and those two worlds, when you can really take the things that you're obligated to do and connect them to those things that you really fulfill you, that you can really connect you to your values, and that the people around you can really see, I really like when you do this activity, even if it's not something that's really fulfilling in the moment, connecting it to our relationships or to other people and really finding a way to really be seen and to really be noticed in that also gives you fuel to be able to do those things that you feel like you should and you really need to. In summary, the interplay between energy, values, and desires, and the tensions between should and want is central to how we navigate our life. Values come from the foundation of our core beliefs and guide our decisions, while desires provide the spark, the motivation, and the fuel. Energy provides the fuel to keep moving forward. Putting all of these things together allows us to pursue these desires and live in alignment with our values. When we direct our energy towards fulfilling desires and connect them with our values, it leads us to a more connected, fulfilling life. However, when we are misaligned, when we act out of obligation, the shoulds, rather than instincts and desires, the wants, our energy may become depleted, and we may experience internal conflict. Balancing what we should do with what we want to do requires self-awareness, reflection, and intentional choices. It also requires a community around you to be able to talk about these things and really interact with them, with others. To be able to take those three components that I talked about how our view of ourselves and our values and our energy and what our spouse or those friends around us view and what's true. A lot of times there is a breakdown and we feel like we don't want to do something or we should do something, but when we do have a conversation and we realize, no, it's not coming out of a place of should, it is something I really want to do, it is something that I really value, you can align it into that third category of truth, and it can shift your perspective. And there may be things that you're like, oh, this really gives me energy and I really enjoy doing this. And then in conversation or in relationship, you find out that you're not really that refreshed afterwards. That activity doesn't really restore you, and it really is draining. And there is other activities that you might enjoy and be more fulfilling. A lot of that we can't just do on our own. Sometimes we can really distinguish what those categories are, but a lot of times it really does require community. In this channel, I will continue to encourage you to find those desires, find those values, be true to yourself, and I'm really going to encourage you to find a community, whether it's online, whether it's through the community that I'm building, or whether it's through another community, to really find what are those values that are true and authentic to you, and to really find the truth, to not let it be something that is subjective, that is your idea of the truth, but what's really true, what really is your values, where do you really find energy, how can you live a very fulfilling, very rich, very powerful life. That is what I hope for you in this channel, and as I continue to talk to you, as I continue to bring this message, I want you to find hope, and I want you to become a powerful, seeing person. Thank you very much for watching to this point. Thank you for connecting with this video, and I will see you again tomorrow.